one of the interesting things about higher education is that there are so many different kinds of colleges and there are different parts of the country. And so they face different challenges and also different opportunities. So for Agnes Scott, being in the Southeast, we're in an area where we have cheap electricity, much of it coal-powered still. And so one of my hopes for us and for other colleges in the Southeast is that we can really be on the leading edge of helping our region be more creative in embracing, as we have done at Agnes Scott, solar power, other sources of renewable energy, and recognizing how even in a kind of more challenging cost and resource context, we can be making a difference and starting to shift the mix of energy production so that it is less harmful to the planet. I think higher education has an incredibly vital role to play in making a more sustainable world. And it's a multifaceted role, you know. I mean, we are, of course, an originator for research. We're thought leaders. So, you know, basic research, applied research is a really important part of that. But I think just as important, and particularly for small colleges like Agnes Scott, is that we are living laboratories. I mean, we can really be places where cutting-edge sustainable practices are tested and tried out. We can also be great partners with and regional leaders and conveners with trying to pose and to solve sustainability issues. And I think for liberal arts colleges, really thinking in an interdisciplinary way, not only about climate science, but about how everything from politics to communications to anthropology, all of that feeds into framing and solving sustainability challenges. So I've been a college president for 8 years, and what I have found it tremendously inspiring about sustainability and kind of what drew me to it. You know, I'm not an environmental scientist. I know some of the college presidents who are really leading on this are themselves experts. I'm a philosopher. But I came to it really in thinking about our mission at Agnes Scott, which is we have this wonderful one-sentence mission statement. We educate women to think deeply, live honorably, and engage the intellectual and social challenges of their time. Period. It's this fabulous mission statement. And as we thought about how do we live out that mission in the 21st century, more really than any other issue, sustainability addressed all three of those components because, you know, in order to educate students to think deeply, live honorably, and engage the intellectual and social challenges of their time for the 21st century, you have to address climate change. You have to address being a part of the solution to a more sustainable planet. So that's been very inspiring, is to think about the link between our core mission and sustainability, and then to see how every element of the college, our curriculum, our facilities staff, our alums, staff and faculty and students all across the campus can get involved and can really be leaders in becoming more sustainable. So I see a lot of incredibly positive trends in the sustainability area. One that I'm very excited about, and I see it I see it with us, I see it all across the country, is that colleges are partnering in very smart ways. You know, we have been partnering with private investors and with Georgia Power in installing solar power arrays at Agnes Scott. I know that George Washington University and American University in Washington, D.C. have partnered with Duke Energy to actually create a utility-sized solar power array. So I'm seeing colleges being the kind of the critical players in moving the needle on renewable energy and making possible renewable energy projects that wouldn't be happening otherwise. I think that's pretty exciting. My hope for the future is that higher education, and specifically Agnes Scott College, will be a true thought leader in shifting the public conversation and public behavior, and really getting us to the point where we recognize that we are all in this together, and that we are not powerless in the face of climate change. That, once we acknowledge that climate change is happening, it's not something in the distant future, it is right here, right now. But we have not only the obligation in terms of our commitment to the future, but also the power to make a difference, whether it's mitigating the impacts of climate change or adapting to a changing climate.